Hi everyone! So this is very unlike me to make another video in like a timely manner. I just made you guys one, but I'm making you another one because I'm feeling rather inspired. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I like missed the Halloween like video quota, or maybe because I'm wearing like all black. But I've been watching a lot of like paranormal vlogs on YouTube recently, and I really wanted to make one with you guys and like share my stories with you. My hair is a mess today. It's not working for me. So first of all, let me start off with a disclaimer, because I'm the queen of disclaimers, as you all know. I don't care if you don't believe in any of this. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, for all I care. I mean, this video is just for your entertainment, mostly. I know what I saw, so don't try to tell me that I'm wrong, or don't try to tell me that I'm, like, stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about, because I was there, and I did experience these things. Like, that being said, everything I'm saying is 100% the truth. I am not lying to you for the sake of like promoting myself or for the sake of like being interesting, because I don't know what I would have to gain really. Maybe like subscribers, but I don't care. Like, this is not just for the sake of me lying. This stuff really did happen. So over time I've had a lot of experiences, but today I'm gonna be focusing primarily— what is— that's a dreadlock. That's a dreadlock. Today I'm gonna be focusing mostly on a certain like series of happenings, of instances, and they all share the fact that they all happened at my grandma's house, which I believe to be extremely haunted. That sounds incredibly cliched, like everyone has the haunted grandparents' house, but I think that this is a little weird because their house is pretty new, and I think that they were like the second people to live there. So first, let me like start off by talking a little bit about the house itself. Like I said, the house is new-ish. It was built in like the late 80s, I believe. It was very, very big house, very nice house. The entire thing was white with a wraparound porch, 4 floors, lot of windows. Whoever like lived there before had it custom built, and they must have really liked windows because there were windows fucking everywhere. There were 3 rooms that were just windows. Also, this house is on a winding little country road in the middle of nowhere. If you live in Virginia, it's like I'd say like 45 to an hour minutes away from Leesburg, and it's on a little service road, I guess, into West Virginia. And so the only people that would ever come up this road were like transient folk and workmen, servicemen, because if you're really gonna go into West Virginia for the sake of going into West Virginia, like, you're gonna take the main road. This is a little road. It's in the middle of the forest too, and my grandparents lived off a stem of the road. They didn't live right directly on the main road because no one did. I would go for runs all the time, and the only people who were close was this man with like a vineyard who lived right next door. I used to always try to go in there, but they had an electric fence, and I learned my lesson. They were really the only people that lived directly on the road. Everyone else lived in these like big old houses that were fenced off, or also maybe some like trailers. There were some trailers there, and there were a lot of vacation homes on that road too. But a lot of them were kind of off the beaten path, but you could see them from the main road. And the road is gravel too, because it's, like I said, it's a service road, and not a lot of people ever went up there. It's kind of what my grandparents wanted. They wanted to be out of the way. Oh, also, this house is for sale now, if you guys want to buy it, if you're looking for a haunted house. I don't know if it's the house itself that's haunted or my grandparents, because it seems like every place they live is like, there's ghosts. So anyway, my grandma also is crazy. I love her to death. I love her to death. She's like probably my favorite member of my family. That's like not in my immediate family, but she's insane. Like, she's a metaphysical pastor. I can't tell you what they do. If you're interested, Google it, because I've only been to one service and I still don't understand. She also is the one who taught me how to read tarot, and for that I'm very, very thankful. And she does like seances and that kind of thing. I can't tell you exactly what she does because she refused to share a lot of it with me. She said that I was too young when I was really interested in it. The first story I'm gonna tell you has to do with her like mystical stuff. There was a room in the attic that she called the magic room. Sounds sinister enough, doesn't it? Yes. So this room was white, like the rest of the house. I think every room was white. Full windows, all windows, every wall, except for the one wall that I'm actually going to talk about. Fucking scary. There was a TV in there and a bunch of weird little knickknacks because my grandma used to travel a lot before she retired. She had like pictures from different places, like exotic things from overseas, like a fan from Manila hanging on the wall, like a samurai sword, and and all this really cool stuff, a bunch of books, a bunch of pictures, a bunch of photo albums. My grandma's kind of a hoarder, but like an organized hoarder, so I don't know if there's a word for that, but that's what she is. When I was a lot younger, I was kind of annoying. I'm an only child, my parents are divorced, so every holiday they like trade me off. So this holiday was probably Thanksgiving, maybe it was Christmas, I forget. I think it was Christmas. Yeah, because I just gotten gifts. I think it was probably like the day after Christmas. So they sent me upstairs because they wanted to watch football. So they sent me upstairs like a lot of family members did. They just banished me away with a TV. And I didn't really care because I'm kind of an alone person anyway. It's probably why. But I went upstairs with all my little Bratz dolls. I didn't mind going there. I didn't really like it though because there was this really, really scary picture of this Indian chief. My grandma's also obsessed with Native American things, as am I. But this picture is really scary. It's like probably a 6-foot picture of an Indian chief, like full face paint, like a necklace made of bones, just really angry looking. I don't know why she bought it because he just looks so mean, so angry. So I used to ask my family members to like come upstairs with me and shut the door whenever I would need to walk by this room because you could see it from the doorway. It just gave me the creeps. It just put me on edge. So here I am, little 5-year-old me with a bag full of Bratz dolls, walking up the stairs, going into the room with the creepy Indian guy. I turn on the TV, just watching it, playing with my dolls, kind of forgetting about all the creepy, like, paraphernalia around the room. And so I sit on this couch, and this couch was in my family for a really long time, too. And on either side of the couch, in the wall with no windows that I was talking about before, there is a little door. And when I say little, I mean little. It is about half the size of a normal door, probably about 4 feet tall. Behind the doors is a connecting like hallway type thing, but it's a hallway with no doors, so that's really weird. Because I know there's more of the house on the other side, but I guess I don't know. They used it for storage. I don't know if there's any actual door that went through because most of it was like covered up by a bunch of stuff. There were a bunch of suitcases in there, a bunch of portraits, like pictures and stuff. Just other like boxes of old books, just smelly books, like mildewy stuff. And a bunch of old mirrors too, which I never really understood. I never asked about it, I should have, but a bunch of mirrors that were covered up by sheets. Oh, kind of like in that movie. What's that called? With Peter Sarsgaard. Skeleton Key, that's what it is. I'm sitting on this couch, and in this little, like, room behind me, there's nothing. Like I said, there's no way for anyone to get in there besides going through the doors that were on either side of me. So I know for a fact that there was no one in that room. And then all of a sudden, to the door to my right side, I hear this pounding, like incessant pounding on the door. And it sounded like someone wanted to get out of the room. Oh, I mean, forget the expression, like paralyzed with fear. Like, I fucking bolted. I didn't even look at the door. I just ran. And I got my dad. I pulled him upstairs. Dad, there's something in the wall. And he was like, oh, shut up. Like, no one cares. But he like listened to me, and because he knew that's where I was gonna be sleeping that night. So he listened to me, and he went in that room and looked around, moved all the boxes and stuff. There's nothing in there. How? I don't know. To this day, I still do not know. And another experience I had in that house. There were several bedrooms upstairs by the magic room. There was the pink bedroom, the blue bedroom, and then the master bedroom. I usually would stay in the blue one, but then the blue one started to really freak me out as I got older. Like, there's no reason that it should have, because nothing changed in it, but my grandma also collected antiques, kind of, a little bit. But in her previous house, there had been, like, Civil War battles on the ground, on the house's grounds. Like, there were battles, so they would find, like, little pieces of bullets and spoons and buttons and stuff. So that was this Civil War room, was the blue room. So they kept glass display cases with those items on the shelves and hanging up on the walls. And there were pictures of Civil War battles and like really old quilts, and it was just kind of a weird feeling room, just to be in the vicinity of things that belonged to people who died, wearing them and holding them, and just I don't know. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why there was like the energy in that house. It just didn't feel like good to me. I don't know. So I stopped staying in that room. But this happened when I was staying in the pink room, which is next door to the blue room, and that's the room where I never asked, but probably my great grandma died there. I don't I don't know for sure because I never asked. I know she died in the house, but I don't know where because she was really old. She was like 97. That's where she lived the last 4 or 5 years of her life, so she probably died there in that bed where I sleep sometimes. When I was younger, and still now, I have like a mild form of insomnia, I think. It's undiagnosed, but there are nights that I'll just stay up for for the hell of it. But I was doing that one night. My grandma was actually asleep in the blue room. I don't know why, because her bedroom was the next door down. And my grandma has always been a very like early to rise person. Like she would get up at like 4 a.m., go downstairs and like set the coffee on because she would use like a French press. She would use like something really old and she wanted to like let it like steep. So I was just up in my bed. I had the door open, which is weird because I never sleep with the door open ever. I was reading downstairs. I hear the TV go on. And so I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I looked at the clock and it's like 2:45. That's way early for my grandma to be getting up. And I'm like, "Oh, maybe it's my grandpa." My grandpa raised cattle before he retired. And so he would get up at really weird times and he'd come back at really weird times and just I don't know. He owned a farm, so I was like, yeah, whatever. Like it's probably fine. It's fine. So I just kept reading. I was like lying there. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see this thing like move by the door really fast. And I knew like that's not normal. And it moved in the direction of from the top of the stairs towards the magic room. And I was like, whoa. Because I knew that my grandma would not be going in there at that time of the night. Like, no way. No way. Because I still heard her, like, snoring in her bed. But at the same time, I was still trying to convince myself maybe that it was her who went downstairs to turn on the TV, if it wasn't my grandpa. So I'm freaking out at this point, and I'm just lying in bed, trying to reason with myself, and my light is really dim. It casts this very, very dim glow around the room. It doesn't even reach the doorway, not even close. So I can't see anything. I'm like lying in bed, with my little book, trying to convince myself that whatever I saw was a product of my imagination, or it was my grandma, or I had a Coke before bed, so I'm hallucinating, or it's the lack of sleep, it's like sleep deprivation, I'm envisioning things that aren't there, like happening, or just because I'm scared, it's a product of my mind, just trying to like compensate for like being scared. So I think I had like finally calmed myself down a little bit, but it wasn't to the point where I could read yet without freaking out. So I was just kind of looking around the room and I was looking towards the door. And I was actually looking straight out the door. When I was doing that, I saw it again. And it moved in the opposite direction. But it didn't look like a person. I didn't see like a shadow figure or like a form or like a full body apparition or anything. It didn't look like an orb either. It looked like when you have a sheet outside and it's like blowing in the wind. It looked like that. But it went by the door kind of fast. Not fast enough that I could like blink and it wouldn't be there. Like I watched it for a good 2 seconds moving across my doorway. And I freaked out. Like freaked out. We're talking like I pulled the covers over my head. Freaked out. And I just lied there for the rest of the night. And eventually I fell asleep, which is like a miracle. I don't know how, but somehow I did. This morning at breakfast, I was talking to my grandma, and my grandpa wasn't there. And come to find out, my grandpa was out of town. So my grandma looks at me and she goes, "Were you downstairs watching TV last night? Like, could you not sleep or something?" And I was like, "No, no, I was up, but I thought that was you." And then she was like, "No, that wasn't me. Are you sure it wasn't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it wasn't me." And she's like, "I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Like, you're playing a trick on me." And I was like, "No, no, I actually was in bed." And she, to this day, does not believe me. And she thinks that I was up turning on the TV. And she told me that she heard it go on and off like 3 or 4 times. And then she said when she came down, it was still on. So that's really weird. I've never figured that out. And to this day, I still think about that, whatever that was, that apparition thing that I saw. I saw it directly, like head on with my eyes. And how could I not believe in something paranormal after that? How could I not? I don't know. Between the banging on the walls and that. I actually have a couple more stories about this house, but I just realized that this video is like 20 minutes long, and I'm trying to make shorter videos because someone complained. If you all are interested in this, please let me know. I am overjoyed to make more of these videos, but I don't feel like putting in the time if I don't feel like they're gonna be watched. And I want to tell you that I love you guys and that you're my favorites, and I'll see you in my next video. Actually, someone requested an eyebrow tutorial, so I think that's coming up next, even though my eyebrows are like really bad, so I don't know why anyone would want. Until next time, my friends. Goodbye.